Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another wonderful edition of Walking with Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. How is everybody tonight? As you can see, it's getting to be dusk, which means everything's going to look blue to you until it gets dark on this camera setting. But I am using my chest, the chest mount body cam setting. So you're going to sit here on my chest right above my heart while I walk. So tonight I'm going to take probably a 6-mile route, and this is a walking vlog, so that means it can be about anything going on in my life that I wish to discuss. And right now with the election this year, it's a big thing to talk about, but I'm going to start off a little bit with, we were going to go shooting today at the range, and we had some rain this morning, kind of put the kibosh on that. It did clear up later in the morning, just before noon, but after it cleared up, it was about 90 degrees, very humid today, very hot and humid. And you want to go do that stuff in the morning before it gets too hot. So we're going to go tomorrow. It's a 50% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. So when it's not thunderstorming, it won't be raining. That's a lot easier to deal with. So we'll give her a go tomorrow, because I want to try out my GSG 1911, which I replaced the mainspring housing spring, the mainspring, which I gotta tell you, 1911s are very easy to work on yourself, if you do things right, that is. If you listen to a rattling trunk. Tonight it's very warm, it's about 80 degrees. Dew point is about 73. It's about as humid as it gets. This is the kind of humidity they get down south. Tropical. It has been revealed that July in Maine has been the second warmest, or I should say hottest, July on record since they've been recording that. So it has been very hot and very dry. I haven't had very much rain at all, to be honest with you. We had some this morning, obviously, but it's been few and far in between. And it only happened because it was range day. So see, we've got a beautiful sky tonight out there in Skyland. See that? Nice. And I know it still looks a little blue on here because it's not quite dark yet. So we got crazy stuff going on in politics, kind of funny stuff too. The more I listen to J.D. Vance speak, This guy has his crap down, folks. He's no slouch. I can see why Trump picked him. He's also loyal, but he's very, very smart, and very hip on all the issues, understands what he's talking about, and he's going to be a tough one for whoever Kamala picks for VP, which I think it's going to come down to Senator Kelly or Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. And I think she would be smarter to pick Kelly, and I'll explain why. I usually do explain. It's because a lot of the youthful voter base right now are not happy with Palestine and Israel, with the Israel-Palestine thing. So Shapiro is Jewish. Now normally that wouldn't matter any, but Democrats, they play ethnicity politics. Everybody knows that. And so that's just what you have with that. That's the way that goes. So anyway, we're going to have that stuff going on. Mark Kelly, veteran out of Arizona, I believe. Is it Arizona or Nevada? One of those southwestern states. I think it's Arizona. And I think he's the one that ran against McGrath. So any hoodly who, we're gonna have one of those two picked for vice president for Kamala. Or is it supposed to say Kamala? We have to say Kamala now, because if you say Kamala, you're being racist or misogynistic. You don't want to call the woman what she wishes to be called. I actually heard that today. That was pretty funny, I thought. So, you don't want to be a misogynist, racist person. You have to say Kamala. Like caramel, Kamala. Anyway, people are starting to talk more about her policies and her radical leftism now. The honeymoon is coming to an end. The honeymoon being Biden stepping down and re-energizing the base with a new face. So I think she's going to pick the non-Jew, okay? Even though she's married to a Jew that she doesn't live with. True, she doesn't live with him. Found that out too. So there's a lot of stuff here that is unsavory, that isn't going to go over well with America. We're going to give it some time, talk about the issues. Republicans need to stay away from the race stuff and women stuff, unless it's to answer something that they say. I think I said that about 3 weeks ago too. When they first announced her. And it's just something you got to do because, you know, actually I got to take a second, check my storage space on this card. I will be right back. All right, we're good. I couldn't remember if I had cleaned up this card that's in this camera or not, which is a micro SD card. So anyway, a lot of interesting stuff going on, absolutely, for sure. I mean, now, former President Trump had a rally today in Atlanta, and it was really nice to see because the place was packed, and it's really unfortunate to see the official Kamala headquarters campaign account try to say that there was empty seats and things like that. They used to photograph, and I almost laughed out loud when I saw this, but they used a photograph of the area that was blocked off for media. It's the media well. It was clearly blocked off, so nobody could go in there. And you know, the fire marshal in Atlanta was doing their fire marshal thing again in these big cities, harassing Trump. So there were a few spotted empty seats up in the top part of the bowl. Nothing major by any means, but you know, the fire marshals enforce these fire codes. And there was overflow crowd outside that couldn't get in. And that's what's annoying about it, because then the social media accounts film empty seats and say that MAGA is fading. They've been doing this since 2015 to him. It's obviously ridiculous at this point to keep doing it, but there you go, keep doing it. Trump didn't need a famous R&B act to fill the place, that's the other thing. Kamala gave away free tickets, and Trump gives away free tickets. People don't have to go to this. Now, it's hot in Atlanta, Georgia, okay? Everybody knows that, especially in August. So, Trump supporters were there at 10 o'clock this morning for him speaking at 5. And he spoke for about 2 hours. He likes doing that. Because I've been to 5 of these. Every time you get there 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and if he's speaking at 8 o'clock at night, you're there waiting for 8 hours or more, regardless of weather. So one particular one I was thinking of was, we waited outside 5 hours. It was about 36 degrees, 34, hovering in between there. It was February 10th, I believe, Manchester, New Hampshire. And so it was cold, starting to get hypothermia. No joke, I'm not kidding. I'm glad we went in a small little group of 3 people, because we took turns going to eat in a local restaurant and have somebody keep your place. So I went and ate and had some Mexican food in this little restaurant, warmed up, and you know, we're sitting there in line and it's spitting snowflakes. You know, it's cold. You're there for hours. Thankfully, it was not cold enough to cause frostbite, which is really good, because feet would have been getting frozen in line. And they did open the doors an hour earlier than scheduled. And also, somebody went around, presumably from the campaign, handing out like these disposable rain ponchos made out of plastic. So that was nice. That actually came in very handy. And so my advice to you, if you've never gone to a Trump rally, is to really plan for things ahead of time. Bring a backpack with water, things like that. And you're never going to know what you're going to run into. One of the rallies in New Hampshire, the one before the election when Trump was president, was we were waiting for a couple of hours. It was still dark out. It was very early in the morning. And I believe the rally was going to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is why. So this gives you an idea of how far ahead you have to plan. You're going to be waiting in line for a long time. You need water, and you need a chair. I brought a disposable folding chair, which I brought with me on a bus. Now we're waiting in line on the other side of the airport, and so these buses pulled up, and everybody just got on the bus. Had no idea what was going on. Have no idea if the buses were to take us to internment camps to get rid of Trump voters. Had no idea. And for obvious reasons, you leave the firearms at home. Some people don't feel comfortable doing that, but you have to. There's no way around it. You're not going to get inside with one. And very strict security getting inside a venue with Secret Service. Given the recent events that have happened, I don't want you to think that that was never the case. Although there's some dispute on that. According to new info that came out, I'll get to that in a minute. But be prepared to throw things away that you brought with you. So if you bring a backpack, like I did once, with stuff to drink in it, I sacrificed the backpack because I knew I was going to have to throw it away. I knew that ahead of time. You can go buy a cheap one at Walmart or something, 15 bucks. And same thing with the folding chair. I bought a folding chair I knew I'd have to throw away. But I just knew from past rallies that you'd need one. And that was certainly the case. So anyway, we got on the bus. They bussed us quite a ways around where the rally was going to be. It was on the other side of the airport in Manchester. And it was kind of nice too, because when we got inside, they actually had chairs inside for people to sit on. So I had a nice seat, maybe 30, 40 feet away from Trump. A nice close-up, close view, sitting in a nice folding chair. And it was most enjoyable. Most enjoyable was watching Air Force One pull right up to the rally. Like right in front of me. I'm looking up at Air Force One right there in front of me. Coolest experience I've ever had. And they put the ramp up to it. After about 20 minutes, Trump came out, walked down the stairs, walked right in front of me, like 20 feet away. Close as whatever close can be. It was so cool. And he went and gave his speech as President of the United States. I mean, how do you know, that's a memory I'll have forever. And I got it on video. It's actually on my YouTube channel, the Politics playlist, if you want to check it out. And so anyway, that's where I got to see the full presidential Secret Service detail at work. Things like if somebody tried to climb up on a chair to get a better view, immediately Secret Service people in the crowd started yelling, screaming at them, "Get off that chair! Get off that chair!" So they didn't screw around, and it was instant. like if you don't listen, you're going to be ejected kind of thing. So, and that happened more than once. It wasn't the one-off. So that was a regular thing that they were doing. They didn't want people there to stand up on a chair higher than everybody else. And the other thing I had noticed was the way that they did a sweep with the ospreys before the president came in. I don't know what equipment they have on those, but they definitely did some kind of sweep. Secret Service was up on scissor lifts, way up there, a couple, 3 stories tall. They had a spotter up there with field glasses, or whatever devices they use. They had a rifle set up, a sniper rifle, ready to go. The rooftops had snipers on them, ready to go. I saw one woman put a case up on the ledge, open it up. She took a long gun out of it, set it up with a bipod, a tripod, I don't remember which exactly. And so, very well organized. They had their crap together, you could tell. I never felt safer in my life. I knew they had everything covered, horizon, everything. And what they do at rallies is they will strategically place things to take away sight lines. They left Air Force One parked outside, so they would have to shoot through an airplane to shoot them. And the way they had the grandstands, you could just tell when you were there that they had all the angles covered carefully. So, you know, the thing that happened in Butler, somebody screwed up, and at this point I think it is an interdepartmental thing where the Secret Service were not privy to what local law enforcement were discussing. And that's a communication problem, similar to what we saw with 9/11. It actually caused as much of a problem as the terrorist act itself, because there was no communication. People are running around like a chicken with their heads cut off. We saw local law enforcement running through a field, knocking a fence down with a freaking police vehicle. I mean, that is complete clown show, okay? That is unacceptable. There was no plans in case something would happen. That much is obvious. So the only rooftop, well, let me say that's not the only rooftop. A lot of the media has falsely reported that that's the only rooftop that was left open. That's not the case. That was a rooftop left open because there were police inside it. And there was supposed to be a police sniper in the window that overlooked that rooftop. So this kid should have been spotted. Now, it's going to be easy to say, well, that's pretty suspicious, convenient that they left it open for this kid. But that sniper had left his post to go help look for that kid because they were all texted photographs from Secret Service. So it seems like the only communication they had with local law enforcement was by cell phone, which is outrageous. That should not be done. Then we also found out, as reported on Fox News by Jesse Waters and Fox News News Corps, and other media outlets as well, but I heard about it through Fox News, a clip on the internet. I don't watch Fox News. That the report was that they were texting back and forth the information. They didn't have direct communication. And that person that was in that window took off to help look for the person that did the shooting. So what was reported is that this was the first rally that they had the full presidential protection team at. So a lot of people are kind of like wondering, why was this the first one? He's done rallies in the past where literally anybody with a rifle could have done what this kid did, because Secret Service detail is responsible for him on the stage, and if somebody attacks him, and nobody gets into a rally with a firearm, that's just not going to happen. They're very good at that, and I'm fully confident of that. So this kid, I'll call him a kid, he's 20, was on the perimeter and just got up on a rooftop that local law enforcement basically was responsible for, but ultimately is the responsibility of Secret Service, and they screwed up, okay? Now you can be a conspiracy theorist and say it was done on purpose, they knew about it, left it open hoping Trump would get shot, which he would have been if he hadn't turned his head. So make no mistake about that. There's absolutely no victory to be claimed by law enforcement or the Secret Service. Epic failure. Epic. And I still believe to this day, if Trump had been shot and killed, that you would see violence across the country aimed at Democrats and media, probably more so the media. Because I know what I was feeling when I didn't know if he was okay. It was not good, folks. It was not a good feeling to have. And I just know in my gut there would have been a problem. And they need to tread lightly with that. It would have been a really terrible thing, to the point where you would have seen people out in public joking with somebody wearing a Trump hat, and the Trump hat person probably would have shot him or beat them up or something. This is political stuff that you can't mess with, and the media is responsible for all of this, all of it. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's because of the media, and nobody's policing them because of the First Amendment, which is how that should be. But at the same time, there has to be some ethics and responsibility taken by them. You can't just run around and say he's an orange Hitler and he wants to kill everybody and destroy this country and destroy democracy without having repercussions. And that's what this kid thought, you know. So, you know, we can't have that. And we can't have it try to be excused, well, he was registered as a Republican. He was a Republican. That doesn't really excuse anything at all. We can't be having that with Democrat politicians that we hate. You know, there's no room for that in this country. There just isn't. It should not be accepted for any reason. There's no excusing it. Zero. So anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to sort out, and I am sweating buckets. I get sweat dripping down my face. Streaming. Nasty. So, with that, let's talk about the debate. Trump has agreed to a debate, but it's going to be on Fox News. Kamala Harris says that Trump is a coward because he won't show up on ABC. And she said she's going to show up on ABC whether he shows up or not. So that should be interesting. And the reason why Trump isn't going to show up is he has a lawsuit filed against ABC and George Stephanopoulos. Both. For comments they made that led up to his being shot at, as well as commentary they made afterwards. And it's a defamation thing. Basically lying and telling half-truths about Trump under the guise of being journalism. And he's a private citizen. He's not elected to office. So he has grounds for a lawsuit. So while that lawsuit is going on, he can't show up to a debate that's being hosted by the network he's filing a lawsuit against, as well as the person he's suing hosting the debate. So Kamala's making a lot of noise about that because she thinks Trump's not going to show up, which he's not. So she thinks she's just going to be able to show up and call him a coward. And, you know, I don't even think this biased media is going to go along with that. That's a dirty trick. So Trump has agreed to a debate on Fox, and you can't blame Trump for that because, you know, we saw what happened in the past with other debates, and the one he had scheduled on ABC was with Biden, and Biden dropped out. So ABC has shown extreme bias in favor of Kamala. So they're not playing a fair game. And, you know, Trump has the means, because he's the candidate that's running, to say this is why I'm not going. And people will know it's true. So anyways, we'll see what comes from that. I wouldn't make too much of it, to be honest with you. But we did get the Washington Post report, Wall Street Journal reporter freed from Russia. But we gave up like 3 Russian prisoners for it. One of which was an assassin. And what does that tell Putin? Well, geez, if you want your captured people back, just kidnap reporters and hold them for ransom. We'll pay it. That's all that says. So, there you have it. So we're going to see more monkey business. Because Putin's not a nice guy, folks. He's not. But he's no Hitler either. So let me put it this way. If Putin were to take all of Ukraine, that's where it's going to stop. He's not going to invade neighboring countries. It's just not going to happen. He doesn't have the resources to do that. Now China would. They made a secret deal and backed Russia 100%. But, you know, China needs the world economy. Their economy is not doing very well at all. So, you know, there's consequences for stuff like that, which I believe is the only reason why they haven't done anything with Taiwan yet. But I will tell you, if you see China make a move on Taiwan, I think most of the world leaders believe that Trump is going to get reelected. So I don't think you're going to see China move on Taiwan. If they believe the opposite is true, I think you will see that. And I think you'll see a joint move by Russia and Ukraine also at the same time. And you'll also see Iran attack Israel, which, by the way, the world is watching for Iran's retaliation as I'm walking, actually. So the Middle East right now is a powder keg, solely because Biden is weak. And he caved into Iran, gave them all that money, and Iran financed everything from Hamas doing that to Israel in October last year. So everything going on right now is because Biden's in the White House. And that's just a fact. He doesn't have control over the people making these decisions. He's just a puppet. So a bunch of bureaucrats in tandem with the bureaucrats running Europe, the EU, wanted this little war with Russia. They had no idea it was going to last this long. They thought Putin would cave because, you know, they know what we know. Russia is not a big military might like it used to be, just not. And they had their hands full even with Ukraine. A lot of their warfare tactics were outdated, as was their equipment. But Russians are good fighters. They just are. They always have been. And Ukraine's running out of men and people to fight. And it's a matter of time before this is all done for Ukraine. They're not going to win this unless NATO gets involved, which means we'll be involved. Which means really bad things for everybody. The worst. Thankfully, I'm too old to be drafted. And that's the truth, because, you know, modern warfare today scares the crap out of me. At least in the old days, you had an enemy in front of you and you could fight and you could gain control and control something. Now you got all these freaking unmanned drones hunting you down. Can't hide in trenches or foxholes anymore. You just can't. So it's very scary. There's enough video on YouTube if you search, and on social media. It's not fun. It's for people much younger than I am. Anyways, we'll see what happens on the world front. Trump's rally in Atlanta tonight was awesome. It really was. It was packed, like I said. And it was really cool because there was this really nice piece of art that some young kid, I'll call him a young kid, a young man, looked like he was about 20. It's a piece of art that this guy made of Trump putting his fist in the air. It had sparkles on it. It was painted really nicely. And Trump called him up on the stage. Secret Service checked him out to make sure. He went up there and Trump signed the piece of art for him. And if he wants to keep it, that's fine, but he may be able to sell it and get a bunch of money. Trump signed it, and this video of him signing it, that should be an easy sale. So that's cool. And also Trump brought that black woman back up on stage. I forgot her name. Michaela, I believe her name is. Michaela. So he brought her up on stage, and the leftist media is already trying to trash her because she has a mugshot. She got arrested for something before. So to me, that's like, well, there's media ridiculing another black person with a criminal record instead of praising her for doing well. So these are the kind of things the media does that blows up in their face and helps Trump, because it makes them look like the racist. You know, black people they always have the establishment against them when they try to do good. You know, they bring up some kind of past thing or mistake they made, or, you know. So I thought it was interesting. So it's actually very good publicity for her, because she shot out her website and what she does. And, she has a election kind of coalition thing. She's trying to get black people to vote Republican. So I think that's really good. Plus, you could tell Trump was attracted to her. That was obvious. He even made a joke about, well, Melania's gonna get jealous, but come on up here. I thought that was funny. So anyway, very interesting. So it was a good rally. He had a lot of really good talking points. He also met with black business leaders before this rally, which really didn't get any media coverage at all, but I'm letting you know about it. If you do a search for it on social media, you might find something, if you're lucky. But it was kind of like this back room thing with a table, and there was about a dozen black business owners in there. Trump was sitting down having a conversation with them, and that's what he has to do. So he's doing what he can. But everybody, and I mean this, and I've said this, you got to double your efforts. Double your efforts. Whether you're doing it on the internet or grabbing people to go vote with you, whatever it is you do, we have to win this. Have to. The consequences would be absolutely catastrophic, possibly World War III, end of the world. That is how serious this is. And it's not hyperbole. You know, I'm not bloviating for the sake of being heard. This is a very, very crucial, important time in our history, with technology that scares the crap out of me. Because, you know, it's possible for the world to end tonight, overnight. Things can get out of hand and escalate quickly. So I don't know how up to date communications are with other world leaders. I don't know what kind of technology we're using now. I don't know what happens with satellite technology designed to take out our satellites and communications, which is probably the first thing that would happen, or at the same time a major attack was going on. You launch an EMP attack as you're invading on the West Coast, for example. I don't think some countries would be crazy enough to just nuke us. I mean, that would be catastrophic. That would be world-ending. But you never know. You just don't know. I don't want to find out. Sure as hell don't want Biden in the White House as our defense quarterback, you know? Come on now. Anyway, I guess it's pretty much agreed Kamala is going to be the candidate as of tomorrow. I think they're going to bash that out ahead of time. Even though the convention isn't officially until August 19th. So I don't know why they ran it so late this year. I remember Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama being made the candidate in May. So I don't know, 2016. Hillary Clinton was the candidate, 2016, when Obama was finishing up. No. That was Obama's re-election. He was running against Hillary. That was the last two. They had a bitter fight, actually. He ended up making her Secretary of State, and she left death in her wake everywhere she went, specifically Libya. That country is still screwed up today, all because Gaddafi told Obama's administration to go F itself, basically. The United States isn't going to tell us how to do our business, and well, we saw what happened. They bombed his palace, and thugs killed him, took over the country. He did not die nicely either. He was sodomized, beaten, had a pole shoved up his rear end. They were not nice to him. So anyway, that being said, there's a lot of stuff going on. We'll be ready for it. Now, thankfully, the defense secretary, a freaking black dude, came to his senses on the 3 people that have been detained about 9/11. He would not entertain plea deals. That was making big news negatively for Biden and Kamala. So the defense secretary stepped in and said that's not going to happen. They're going to still be on schedule for the death sentence. Don't know why it's taken so long. Over 20 years ago. You know what I mean? It's costing millions of dollars to have these people locked up. Something 1 23-cent bullet would take care of. See what I'm saying here? That's why we're broke. Whew. I am soaked in sweat. Goodness. I'll finish up this walk. Take a nice hot shower. Get a little bit of sleep, go shooting in the morning. That'll be a lot of fun. Rain or shine, we're shooting tomorrow. But we're just going to have threats of thunderstorms, so that's a lot easier to dodge than it just raining off and on all day. So, but it is going to be 86 to 90 degrees tomorrow in the afternoon, so we're going to make sure we get our window in the morning, or else we'll get cooked. Very happy with my weight right now. Let's give you an idea. 2.5 years ago, at one point I was 268 pounds. But you have to understand, I'm big, tall, and yeah, I was, getting a little round-faced, that sort of thing. Pants weren't fitting anymore, and but since I've been walking and I changed my diet, I'm down to 230 right now. So that's about 36 to 38 pounds lighter than I was 2.5 years ago. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's about 1/3 of an average sized person. So I feel really good, consequently. Actually, I had about 4 pair of underpants that I threw away today because they were too big now. I don't plan on gaining weight back to fit into them again. So I gotta share that with you. But yeah, 230 pounds. How about that? I think when I was about 20, I was about 228, 229. So, no complaints, really. It can be a little bit of a hassle to make an hour and a half per day to exercise, but obviously it's well worth it. That means good blood pressure, good everything. So, and it's a proven fact, people that get cardiovascular exercise, given anything else that can happen, will typically live longer and a better quality of life while they live longer. It's very important. And it's also, it's been shown that people that exercise regularly aren't as susceptible to diabetes or autoimmune diseases. And I'll throw cancer in that as well. Stats show that people that get regular exercise have a much lower cancer rate, much lower. And it's not even so much having to do with diet. It's just really important to get your exercise. And also to maintain your immune system. Because cancer is an autoimmune disease. There's a lot of evidence that shows that your immune system will do a lot to attack cancer when it's trying to start. So, in fact, there's a lot of groundbreaking stuff being done right now with immunotherapy to fight cancer. It's showing a lot of promise where you're using your own immune system hopped up on steroids. And not literally steroids, but I'm just saying they hop up your immune system. It's been shown to a lot of promising. I think there's going to be a viable, reasonable treatment for cancer coming soon. That's not going to involve chemotherapy. It's going to involve your own immune system being coerced into killing cancers. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, I don't know why this car is sitting in the road up ahead with its high beams on, it looks like. So I don't know what's going on with that. I see another car to the left with taillights blinking off and on. I don't know if that's somebody that got pulled over. I don't know what's going on. Somebody hit a deer. Guess we'll find out because I gotta walk by it. I'll probably cross to the other side of the street. Because I can't see crap. There's somebody there. I see taillights. So I don't know if that's two cars side by side talking with each other. But that vehicle's brights are on and I hate that. I can't see. I can also see a vehicle behind them. So I don't know what's going on with that. The vehicle behind them doesn't have the brights on. I mean, I'm sure it's nothing. I hear voices. people walking in front of the headlights. Another person. I just hit 3.5 miles. Alright, let's see what's going on over here, if anything. Starting to get past the headlights now. Much of anything. Just people being people. Thought maybe a deer got hit or something. That's initially what I thought. Well, now that we're gone by, I'll cross back over. I gotta salute my flag outside the Vietnam vet's house. Salute the flag. Continue on. I was very happy with last night's walk. I didn't record it. Isn't that always the way? I didn't record last night's walk. And what did I run into right in front of me, like 20 feet? 3 deer. A mama with 2 babies, and the little baby was running around all over the place, hopping around like kids do. And I didn't get it recorded on the GoPro. I did catch it on my cell phone though, but it was just getting dark, and my phone was having a difficult time focusing on it. So, the video's okay, but I just didn't want to bring my GoPro. I wanted to use my earpods, and listen to stuff while I was walking, which is what I did. So, anyways, c'est la vie. Well, tonight I got the GoPro. I'm not going to see anything. That's just how that works, folks. It's the one time you don't bring it. That's when everything happens. So, now we're going to enter the home stretch. Anyway, last night's walk, I was very happy because my first mile was about 20 minutes. And that's because I stopped for about 3 minutes to look at the deer, film them. Then I started walking. But the rest of my walk, I did about 15:20 to 15:40 a mile, as in minutes. I had a very good walking time because I wasn't talking to you guys on the GoPro. When I talk to you guys, I get about 16 minutes a mile. So that's how much it's difference it makes. Up this way. Whew. Oh yeah. I'm gonna be thirsty when I get back to the ranch. I'm thirsty now. And I drank a full can of sparkling liquid when I left. I don't know if you can see that, but you see how coated in sweat I am. I think you can see that. Drenched. No breeze tonight either. It'd be nice if there was a breeze. Sure you can hear all the crickets. See my shadow. Hi everybody. You can see where that chest harness is wrapped around me, pulling my sides in. Oh yeah. Reminds me of that song there. Do 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 do. Chicka chicka. Don't do do do. Oh yeah. Ooh. Yep, so if you're watching the polling seems to have stabilized. Kamala did experience a surge, but some of these poll numbers are so out of whack. Makes no sense at all. I mean, one Bloomberg one, you know, they put Kamala up 7 points in Arizona, 6 points in Nevada. And then for some reason they had like Trump up 7 points in Pennsylvania. It's like it completely doesn't make any sense. If anything, Trump's leading in Nevada and Arizona by a pretty good margin, and he's not leading by a huge margin in Pennsylvania. So it's completely weird right now. I don't want to use that term weird because they've made it a talking point for making fun of Republicans and J.D. Vance by saying everything is weird. It's weird. It's supposed to be like some kind of psychological catchphrase word that resonates with people, and all it's doing is giving Republicans ammunition. I think it's weird that people are chopping the breasts off their kids. It's really weird. So that's basically all it's accomplishing, really. I don't know why they thought that would be, you know, a good thing to do. The Project 2025 talk is finally dying down too. I think they're finally realizing it's not really a viable thing. So I think Republicans are going to run a smart election. It looks like they've gotten the message. They need to hammer Kamala on policies. She has a huge track record. California politics. She was in favor in California and has made comments as vice president that illegals that come here should get free health care. That's something that is bankrupting California. And they want to pander to illegals for a bunch of different reasons, really. One of which is it's estimated about, you might see 14% of illegals voting because of that glitch. Intentional glitch, I might add, with voter registration for people that go on welfare. There was nothing on there to specify on whether or not you were a citizen. So That doesn't automatically guarantee they're going to vote for Democrats either, by the way, or that they're even going to vote. They're here illegally. They might just be content with staying anonymous. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how much damage that truly is for a problem. Guess we'll find out. So, we're heading up to the last leg. This, I hear a couple of dueling motorcycle revvings. Sound like a couple of angry hornets. Whew. Well, I'm definitely getting a good workout tonight. I'm going to walk in the house and it's going to feel like walking into a refrigerator, and it'll be 71 degrees. Truth. Alright, I'll head up this way. Hang a right and go through the home stretch. That was the other thing I liked about the rally tonight, was Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance was talking and talked about how he had a rough go of it, grew up without much money. His mother was a drug addict, and his dad wasn't around, and he made something of himself. Went to Yale and graduated with honors. Went into business, was doing very well. Said his mother's been sober for 10 years. So there's a lot of people in the Rust Belt that can relate to that. And I think that's another good reason why he was chosen. Is at this point, everybody knows somebody that has either OD'd on drugs or had a drug problem. And unfortunately, I have a cousin somebody close to the family OD'd and died on drugs. That was fentanyl. So they were doing heroin and it got mixed in because drug dealers don't care. And that's what happened with that. So anyway. Ooh, that's a loud cricket. We got some loud crickets tonight. There's that other thing too, where you can tell the temperature by how many chirps a cricket does per whatever amount of time. It's like, you know what? I really don't care. I don't need a cricket to tell me that it's freaking warm tonight. I guess that's my point. Get what I'm saying? It's like not necessary. Has not been this warm in Maine for many, many years. Probably the warmest summer of my lifetime with the least amount of rain. And again, I'm not complaining about it. Last year was miserable. It was awful. It wasn't warm and it constantly rained. So, you know, my brother was making up a good point. When we were kids, this was terrible because we didn't have AC. We didn't have the money for air conditioning. So you put a fan in the window and, you know, that was it. It was not enjoyable. And for a stretch, we lived on the top floor in a slanted roof house. So it would be like 110 up there, you know? No AC. Go sit outside till it got dark, and they put the fans in the windows. Basically is what happened. So I'm at 4.5 miles right now. Probably got a little over a mile left, I think. Something like that. I don't like going through here with all this traffic. Hopefully I won't get any. I am wearing reflective shoes though. That person saw me. Very important to have something on your shoes that's reflective. Whether it's reflective laces, they sell those, or in this case on these hiking shoes, there's stripes sewn into the shoe. Very, very importante. Importante. I'm going to take out my little flashlight. When I get up here where it gets dark, I'll put it on. We're almost done walking tonight. Coming up towards the end. All right. We'll put the light on. I just saw a mouse run into the grass. At least I hope it was a mouse. I don't think it was a lizard. I don't see very many lizards in Maine. It's not something you generally see here. Whatever it was, it didn't like my flashlight. And it moved quick. Now tonight it's humid, so when I get cars coming towards me, I can see the headlights before they're over the crest. But I'm going to be crossing over right about now, actually. And there is a car coming this way. See that? Get off the road here. Let's see if I can see any deer out in the field tonight. We've got this apple tree here. Apples are growing pretty good. Make sure I don't step in a hole. Never a good thing. Does not feel good when you have a disc problem. Step into a hole. Oh, I see eyeballs. I see two eyeballs looking at me. Fox. Nope, that was a deer. Nope, that was a deer. I could tell by how it was running. Yeah, two more sets of eyes where the light is. There's a deer over there too. So this is like a deer field. So there's three deer tonight that unfortunately you're not going to see. You can see when you shine a flashlight, they're looking at you and you can see the light reflecting back off their retina. So that's how I could see them. Then when they move, you can see them. At least I could just now anyways. Well, that's it. That's okay. That was cool. The deer are among us. Even when you don't see them, they're there. All right. Wow. This is the sweatiest I have gotten on a walk yet tonight. The air is absolutely thick enough to cut yourself a slice of it. It's like this down south all the time, I guess. There you go, the police department turning into Thorn Craig. Five miles. I just hit 5 miles. This whole section right here is uneven sidewalks, as you can tell by the puddles. When you're walking and you can't see and you step in these holes, it's not a fun feeling. So, I should probably bring my flashlight more often. Night walks. Just because I can shine it in the woods and see what the hell's going on out there, like I did with the deer. Whew, my goodness. I am getting dehydrated. is definitely the most muggy night I've walked on ever tonight. This is brutal. This is brutal. Look at that. Drenched in sweat. All right, well, I'll sign off with you guys up ahead here. Thank you very much for walking with me on this dripping wet, sweaty night. I'm wearing cargo pants and I should have wore shorts. There you have it. Definitely getting hungry too. All right, ladies and gents, thank you very much for walking with me. This has been Walking with Beau, an almost daily walking vlog, and I hope you enjoyed it. Be nice to one another. Be nice to each other. Click like and subscribe. Share the content. And have a beautiful weekend, rest of it anyways, on this beautiful Saturday night. And we'll talk to you soon, everybody. Till the next walk. God bless and have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.